episode of Making Waves with Lizbef. Hello, I will be your host for this podcast. I tell you what, let's get straight to it. Let's put the kettle on and have a brew together, shall we? So I wanted to do a podcast because it's how I started this in the first place, and you can probably hear me walk into my kitchen now. It's very important, a cup of tea. Okay, kettle is on. Let's get comfortable. So let's get right down to it. Making Waves, this podcast, is about inspiring and motivating you guys to go out and do your shizness. This is a podcast that you can play in the background whilst you're doing your work, whilst you're driving to wherever you need to go, or just to listen to whilst you're in the bath and scrubbing your back, okay? So just imagine I'm there with you, sitting on the toilet, passing you the soap, having a nice little chat. So you've decided you want to take the plunge and you have no idea how to start, how to go about things, and you feel a little bit afraid. That's where I come in. I want to be your friend. I want to be your agony aunt. I'm going to be there for you to give you tips and hints and basically all-round motivation to see how we can do this realistically, practically, and just to give you a bloody pep talk when you need it. For me personally, the biggest obstacle I ever had when I wanted to go forwards was fear. I was so scared of letting people down, of disappointing people. That's what held me back. And I think I had not many people on my side. There were so many people telling me to not do it. And I'm going to start off from when Delos asked me to go to Africa. My friends, my family said, no, don't do it. It's insane. You don't know him. What are you going to do this for? You're nearly 30. You should be getting a proper job. You should be settling down. You should be looking at a mortgage. You should be looking at your pension. You're getting too old for kids. All this stuff. It was like a rush, just such a rush to be put into a box, to be put into an office. And I've always hated the office jobs. Whenever I start a job, I would like it for the first few days, and then I just end up hating it to the point where I'll be driving my car on the way to work and I'll just be hoping for the car to come off the road just so I wouldn't have to go into work. So the decision was taken off my shoulders. And that's when I was like, oh God, I just can't work for anyone else. I just want to work for myself. And I've never had a problem in finding a job. You know, I don't care what it is. I'll clean, I'll waitress, I'll shine your shoes, whatever. I'll do it because it's money to pay for where you want to go. That's how I see it. I just see money as points, as tokens to get on the rides that you want to get onto. That's not the same for everyone. Like, I want to do a disclaimer here. I know people have responsibilities. They have children. They have some mortgages, all this stuff. But if this is something you really want to do, if there's something that you really, really want to do and it keeps you awake at night, I don't see any reason why you can't look at a way of integrating that into reality. I mean, what is the reason? What's holding you back? That's what I'm here for. So I think for myself, the dream was to be free. I wanted to be in charge of making my own money. I wanted to be in charge of going where I wanted to go. And that was it. Every time I went to work, I felt like I was going to school. And every time I quit a job, it was the same sensation of when you just skived off school. I remember I would leave at lunchtime and I would walk the hour all the way back home to the village, and I used to get past this place called Round Towers. It's this really, really old gatehouse, and if the teachers caught you, they would make you go back to school. But I never got caught, and I always knew when I passed these two towers that I was free, that they won't catch me. And I was so sneaky. I would, as soon as I went out, I'd take off my tie, change my shoes into my trainers, put my hair down, put my hoodie up, so I just looked like someone, like a normal person, and I would race all the way back home. And it felt so good. I think the main step of this first podcast for you is to give you some self-belief. The thing is with pursuing the dream, there's no guarantees. Of course there's no stability. It's a risk. Of course it's a risk. And a lot of people, they They project their own fears onto you, and their fears and their doubts should not affect you in your life. Yes, you can listen and take advice, but that decision is still your own, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. I feel like you've got to look at your life as a piece of white string, and it's up to you how colourful it's going to be. It's up to you. And that was the thing why I decided to go on to Delos. I've said it before. I love to write, and whenever I read a book and it didn't end the way that how I liked it, or I watched a film and I was so gutted that it was over and I wanted to be with these people, or I was always really disappointed when I watched Narnia, or they all went back home in the end, and I mean, not in the very last book, but I was like, why didn't you stay? I was really annoyed the Little Mermaid, like, giving up her tail for Prince Eric. Or, Sarah in the Labyrinth, she didn't stay with the Goblin King. I was like, God, why can't it happen the way how I want it? And each time I watched it, I kept hoping it would change. So I decided to write my own endings. And I think the most depressed I ever got was when I realised that all of my adventures were over. I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to be stuck in this town forever, and I can't see a way out of it. I can't afford a house. I can't afford to go anywhere. I'm going to be stuck in this job just in the hopes of saving for a mortgage. My partner at the time didn't want to travel, and I was stuck. I just felt trapped, and I felt so depressed that I just threw myself into my writing, because I thought, I can live out my adventures through my characters, and they became my best friends. So when I started watching Delos and I got wrapped up in that journey, I was like, I want to do that. I wish I could do that. To the point when it was like, well, just start wishing, start making it happen. You can make it happen. It is possible. When I come home, people, they say, oh, you're really lucky. And I don't think I believe in luck. I think I believe in well-timed choices, well-timed risks and jumps. Everything I've done is like through a crazy jump, and it hasn't been easy, and your journey won't be easy either, and I hope you wouldn't expect it to be, or even would want it to. Why would you want it to? Let's have an adventure, let's learn some stuff. It's going to be grand. So please don't be afraid, because this is the entire part of the journey. I feel like whenever you go through difficulty in life, it's just the universe's ultimate training course. That you're being trained for the next step. You're being trained for what you're really supposed to do. If you're ever in a bad situation, never be like, oh, but why me? Why is this happening to me? You're being redirected. Something's changing for you, and it's a good thing. I don't think the universe acts out of spite. It's not how it happens. But what I would like to see, whether you're on about starting a new business, you want to quit your job and live in a van, or you even want to just go sailing, I'm going to try my best to help you out with practical advice. And I'm going to be writing a blog to go with this, with forums, websites, techniques, everything that I can think of to help you. So I can especially help any rookies who are looking to buy their first boat, because I can definitely tell you what not to do. But you know what? If anyone went back to me and said, really don't buy Papagino, she's going to be like this for you in the future, I probably still would have gone ahead, because it's been an amazing journey. So we've spoken about fear. We've spoken about fear and being worried about letting other people down. I really encourage anyone to listen to the talks by Alan Watts, because it was listening to him that changed my entire perspective on what I was supposed to do with my life, and how that I wanted to incorporate something I loved into a living so I could carry on do what I love forever. And that for me is painting and writing and traveling, and I want to incorporate all of those things. And I think with this podcast, I really just want to talk to you guys, see what it is you want to do, and what's your first step going to be. And I think the best thing to start off with is put the plan onto paper. Is it simply to go off and explore? Is it to make money? To be your own boss, to have an independent business? Is it to live off grid? Is it to buy the van, do the traveling, the sailing? What is it that you want to do? I think perhaps the core of this is to be free. What I'm just saying is don't be afraid, because things will mess up, you will be tested, and sometimes it will feel crap. But if you want it enough, you will push past this. Don't give up when it gets hard. You need to carry on. You need to carry on as long as it brings you joy. If you get to a point where it's filling you up with dread each morning and you're like, my life is going to be better if I went into a different direction, then I'd say, yeah, okay, you can evolve. But I wouldn't say give it up just because you want to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, unfortunately. That's just how it is. I have a friend called Michael, and he has this incredible business called the Big Comfy Bookshop in Coventry in England. And when he started out, it was just a small bookshop. He quit his job, he quit everything, and he just went for it. There were no guarantees. There was nothing. It was so risky. And he set up a tiny little cafe selling secondhand books. Because with the huge businesses like Barnes & Noble and Waterstones and Amazon, like dishing out books faster than you can finish a cup of tea, you know, the secondhand trade is not your first call, I don't think. But he stuck through the hardships. He stuck through the uncertainties. And now, several years on, about 3-4 years on, his shop space has doubled in size. He has successful open mic nights. He has a really delicious selection of cakes at his cafe. And he sells books. He has a blog. He has a YouTube channel. He has Patreon. He's set it up to survive. And he's stuck at it. And that's just what I'm saying to you. If you're going to go for it, you have to be dedicated, because you owe it to yourself to be dedicated. You owe it to yourself to make this dream a reality. And you'll know if this dream is as important to you as you think it is, because you won't let it go. If it's something that you're thinking of when you go to sleep at night, and it's the first thing you think of when you wake up, when you're having a cup of tea, when you're on the toilet, when you're in the bath, okay, maybe not too much, but if you're thinking about it every single day, you've got to go for it. Life is so short. I'm 31, and I've had friends very young that have just passed away so young. Our friends, it's crazy, people your own age or younger, and they're passing away, and they haven't even achieved their potential. They're going to the same job every single day that they don't like, hoping that one day things are going to get better, and then one day they just get hit by a car or something. And I think for me, I'm so aware of my mortality. You only get one life. It's so cliche, isn't it? You only get one life, but you have to go for it. You have to try. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your own legacy. I'm loving this trend of supporting independent businesses recently. I think we've become more aware of the situation. I used to walk through my town up a few years ago, and all these shops were shut down, and it was terrible, boarded up, horrible. I came back and I walked down the street, and there were so many independent businesses. Dessert shops, there are barbers, there are pubs, there are fashion shops, there's a kids' daycare ball pit place. It's amazing for such a town where I live in. I live in a town in Warwickshire, and I think we're becoming a lot more aware that independent businesses need a bit more support. And I think if you're going to start an independent business, now is the time. And I think if you really want to make your dream happen, then you will be smart about it as well. I'm not saying quit everything, live in a mini, and then start a YouTube channel and just think you're going to live off YouTube. Because realistically, starting a YouTube channel is really difficult to get traction or views. You should not do anything just because you want to start a YouTube channel. You should be doing something because that's the story that you want to live. YouTube should be your last thought, unless what your dream is like, I want to share something with people, I want to inspire the people. If that's your goal, then yeah, go for it. But don't start something because you want to be a reality star, because there is so much to put up with. You should do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else. And I'd also say, just don't listen to the naysayers, even when you've started it. For example, when I started out with Papagino, I got so much crap from people. I got so many emails, hundreds of comments saying I was this, I was that, I was never going to achieve it, I was never going to get into a water, I was never going to get masks, I was never going to get sales, and I would never sail her. Just constant negativity. And yet we got her into the water, we got her to Martinique, and then we got the mast fixed, and we got the rig sorted, and we did sail. So their words mean nothing. It's all down to your own ability. It's all down to your own ability. I've never said to myself, I can't do something. I can't do it. I can't do it. Of course I can. And of course you can as well. And if you guys comment back, and then I'll know what the majority of stuff that you guys want to do, whether it's business or travel or whatever with vans or sailboats, and then I can cater the advice. I can cater it out. But I'm here for you. I'm going to be directing you some really interesting people, and I'm also going to be interviewing Michael from Big Comfy Books to explain what it's like opening up an independent business, to share the story a bit more if anyone else is looking for some inspiration. It's all exciting. This is just the start. It's a very chilled out first little podcast of a pep talk to you, because I just want to share what I've learned with you. Okay, so it's going to be more informative once I get the feedback and listen to what it is you guys want to do. So, I hope you've enjoyed your tea. I love you all so much, and I want to help you. Auntie Lizzie is here for you. Okay? All the best, my darlings.